Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thousands of memories are created on your magical vacation. Those memories can live on forever in the photos that are taken. Join us today as we go on a journey in Capturing Magic.
Welcome to Capturing Magic. I'm Steph from CapturingMagic.me and TheDailyDigi.com. This is episode 52, recorded on July 25th, 2013. I'm here with my co-host, Brittney Leavitt, who can be found at BritishDesigns.com, where she creates digital scrapbook supplies. Hi, Britt.
Hello.
And we have here joining us today two guests. We're excited to have Heather Winfield back again. She is a writer at CapturingMagic.me, and she has a website, her character website, in which can be found at heatherw.com/character. Hi, Heather.
Hi.
Thanks for being here again.
Okay, I'm glad to be back.
It's always delightful.
It's always fun.
Yeah. And we have joining us for the very first time, David Manning, who is a Disney fan and photographer, and he can be found at davidmanningphoto.com. Hi, David.
Hello. Very nice to meet you. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yes, it's wonderful to be part of the Touring Plans Network. Just like to say hi, Scarlett.
All right, let's remind our audience a little bit about Heather. Heather, when did your love for Disney start?
When I was born, I guess. But
That's a good answer.
I got addicted to the parks probably in like the mid 2000. We did a couple of day trips when I would come over from spring training, and then we decided to have that once in a lifetime trip, and we did that in 2007. And I have lost track of how many trips I've had since that once in a lifetime trip. So that's how that happened.
That's great. And when you go to the parks, who are you usually going with?
I go with my mom, or I go with friends. I go with David. I go with myself.
Mixing it up.
Yes.
All right. And David, you usually go to Disney World, right, Heather?
Oh, yes. I've been to Disneyland once, and I'll be there 2 weeks from today. But, Disney World is my home. Even though it's how many miles away from me, it's still my
your home park.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And by the time this airs, all of us will be down in California for D23. David, are you headed to D23?
No, I'm not. I will be working here in town.
Well, okay, I'm sorry. While you're working, the rest of us will be on our way to California for D23.
No, I will. I will be recovering from the possible impact or near miss of Tropical Storm Dorian, which will or will not do or do not. Yeah, it'll.
Anyway, we get the idea.
There may be a tropical storm after between now and this era. So
because you're headed into that season down there in Florida.
Oh, it's been that way.
Yeah,
it's. I've lived here off and on since 2004. Well, a split time here in Georgia for 4 years, and now I live here again. The summer of 2004, we had Hurricane Charlie, Hurricane Francis, and Hurricane Jean all hit basically right over here in Orlando and Lake Buena Vista in a 6 to 8 week span, and it sucked. There's no getting around it. But I stayed on property for 2 of the 3 storms, and it was pretty interesting.
Wow.
To say the least.
So tell us when your love for Disney started.
Well, the first time I came here, there was only one park. And the second time I came here, there was only one park. Back in the formative days of the, you can just do the math on that one. I don't want to out my age totally. Yes, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, before a man named Eisner came to the rescue of the Walt Disney Company. I came as a kid and then came down in college on a conference, and we had 2 choices. Half the people I was with went to Pleasure Island, the rest went to Magic Kingdom, and that was in 2002. And then obviously graduated college in 2003, came down on spring break and just kind of and then decided I'm going to move down here. And I've been coming here ever since. So roughly 9-10 years of coming to the parks regularly. I did work here briefly for 9 months in research, and then I went on to a wonderful career in journalism.
Perfect. So. Yeah.
And we'll let Brian will have fun editing some of this up. And I'm saying Brian's name right now and saying he has to do this just so he doesn't feel left out of the equation.
Yeah.
Brian, good job, buddy.
Yeah, Brian is ours, because there are people listening that probably don't know. Brian works for Touring Plans, and he'll go through and make sure that we don't need bleeping if we're swearing. I have another editing guy that actually does more adds the music in and the pixie dust and all of that fun stuff throughout the show. But yeah.
Oh, there's pixie dust?
There is pixie dust in this show. Yes.
Sweet. And I thought it was here, and I thought it was just in the fairy room.
Okay, so who do you typically are going to Disney World, and who do you usually go?
I hope Brian tightens this up, cuts this to shreds. If not, this is going to be hysterical.
He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. No, we record.
That would have been help.
It's all going to be here. It's all going to be here.
I guess I should have asked that when you asked if there was any other questions.
Yeah. Do you edit? No, we don't edit. We don't do post-editing.
Oh my. This is wow.
No pressure. Yeah, no pressure. The question that I asked.
Go to parks with, I went the other day with my brother who was in town. Usually friends, family. Sometimes if I'm going there specifically to take pictures, I will actually generally go on my own, just because it's easier to do what I'm doing there.
Yeah.
Just as myself, but usually friends, we'll try and just drive there, go for a few hours, wander around, have some popcorn, laugh at people in ECVs, and move on.
Awesome. Good. Okay, let's move. Do we have news items? Britt, I put a news item down and now it's not there. Was there another news item I don't know about? There's question marks.
No, the only news item we were going to talk about is our D23 meetup. Okay.
So we decided to do a D23 meetup, and we are going to be meeting at Tangaroa Terrace on Saturday night at 8:30. Right?
Yes.
Anything else we need to say? We have buttons that we will be giving away. So if you want to come say hi, we'll give you a button. Yep. You can have a pin.
So yeah, anybody is welcome to come to that and meet up with us, eat some food, or just hang out or whatever. Yeah. And the Tangaroa Terrace is at the Disneyland Hotel, right?
Yes.
Like not in it, but
outside by the
on
pool,
the grounds, yeah.
Kind of out by the pool, yeah. Britt and I have a list. We're going to do something really fun that neither of us have ever done before, and so we have a list of places that we want to eat at. Tangaroa Terrace was on that list, and I was glad that Britt figured out a way to put it in.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll do that. We'll head straight from D23 probably, because there's the Alan Menken big.
Richard Sherman,
Alan Menken performance that starts at 6:30 at D23, and then we will head over. It's scheduled to end at 8, and we'll head straight over to Tangaroa Terrace from there. Yep. There have been several people that have emailed and wanted to be able to meet up with us, so that is the best way to do it. We would love to say hello. And okay, was there anything else that we needed to add to that? Did we get it?
I think so. I think that's everything.
Okay, perfect. And so let's jump into our discussion topic today, which we are going to be talking to David and Heather about character hunting, because you two recently went on a trip. It was in the spring, right? Where you were able to see an astonishing number of characters. Okay, so it was in May. Sorry, I didn't.
Well, when we actually saw this, the trip you're specifically referring to was sometime earlier in the season than May.
This is May.
This is May? Oh,
yeah, this was May.
When you did the dress up and the
dress up one was in February.
That we did in February, because it gets too bloody hot otherwise.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us, maybe you need to tell us then, the times that you've been, when you've been specifically doing big character hunts, how many characters have you been able to see in how much of a time span?
Well, when we did in May, this one, we met 103 characters. I was there for 8 days. Yeah, it was 65 different characters, but yeah, 103 total. And that was over 8 days. And it wasn't like we set out to do that, because I think it wasn't until the last day or so that we realized we've met a lot of characters. If we had set out to do that, I think we only missed about 10 characters that are out that we didn't meet.
And
you can only do that at Disney World. That would never work.
No.
I don't think there's even close to that many at Disneyland.
No.
Well, we're willing to try if somebody's willing to pay for it.
I know, right? Let's give it a try.
We do accept corporate sponsorship.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
If anyone wants that, we can go to Disneyland Paris and try it also.
There you go.
And
Tokyo, yes.
Sure. I like that, Heather.
Let's hit the whole globe.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so tell us then a little bit, because I want to hear about the time when you dressed up too. So maybe we should jump into that and then jump into some strategies. So tell us what you did when you guys dressed up, why you did that.
Should I field this? Or you want to take
sure.
one? Okay. The why, it's very, very simple. The night before, we had dined to be our guest, and we had gotten the last seating, and we were actually the last guests out of the park, had our own little private kiss goodnight show on the castle, and we had attempted to get our photos all dressed up with the princesses, and the cast members for a particular department that happens to monitor that area sort of lied to us. We stood in line for an hour, wasting our time. Didn't get any pictures with any princesses because we just stood in line and then said the heck with it, went to dinner, and decided the next day we would get all dressed up and go get our pictures with the princesses. And it kind of escalated.
It escalated to 15 characters, 3 parks, several street atmosphere.
12
you
miles.
walking around in heels and 12 miles.
In heels.
In heels. You know how you see people in heels? What idiot does that at a park? That was me.
That was you.
I do always think that.
I know, right?
Yeah, we had people staring and saying stuff, and I think someone took a picture when we once or twice, and it was right after Dapper Day, so we had a couple people say, Dapper Day was Sunday. I'm like, yeah, so
it's not today, right?
Oddly enough, I was part of the first Dapper Day here at Walt Disney World. Not to be confused, Dapper Day out at Disneyland. Obviously, Justin does a really good job with Dapper Day and is turning it into a huge success. And if you check on Facebook, you can find out all the details for Dapper Day at a Disney theme park near you coming this fall.
Oh, fun.
Well, I've always wanted to go to Dapper Day. It looks so fun.
It actually is. And part of the why did I want to get dressed up and get pictures with the characters. Obviously, we're here in Central Florida. Most everybody is dressed up as a tourist. And in all the yes, most people are dressed as a tourist. Some people actually are tourists.
Right.
And some people near the front are dressed as tourists and have little wires coming out of their ear. But I think they're doing something different. But in all the Herb Ryman concept art that you see of Walt Disney World and Epcot, from back in the day, from the 60s and 70s, all the guests they're dressed very nicely. They're dressed up as if it's a place to be. A lot of people have told me in Tokyo, the guests tend to dress more formally. I mean, you're looking at $95 a day now to get into Kingdom. I don't see a problem with dressing up. I'm thinking, why aren't you dressed up? That's how it's my perspective. Plus, how often do you actually get your photo with Mickey Mouse and you are dressed to the hilts? He's in a tuxedo.
Yeah, right.
He's in a tux. Why aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that idea. I think it would be really fun to do. Really fun.
It was really fun. I do it again, but again, we'll wait until it's cooler because
it's definitely a mid-October, November, December, January, maybe beginning of February thing. It is not a
summer.
March, April. Yeah, it's not a today thing because, well, the weather is not conducive to it.
There was a couple of times when we were, I guess, in the middle of the day and it was getting hot and the sun was right on. That was
Uncomfortable.
That wasn't good. Yeah, I was like using my bag to like cover the sun. It's beating on you and you're waiting for the white rabbit. But
do you remember how many characters you saw in that trip? Because it was a quick trip, wasn't it?
No, that was February. That one, I'd have to go back and look at my list, but I could easily figure it out later. But because
it was well into the hundreds as well.
I don't think it was that many. This was by far the most in May that we met 100. So I don't think it was anything close to that. But I should have been prepared for that.
No. That's okay. You're fine.
No pressure.
Yeah. So give us some of your strategies that you used on this trip in May when you were able to see so many characters.
Well, again, it wasn't really set out to do that. So it just happened to be, you see a line and there wasn't anyone there. So, we try to meet the characters. I also, with my site, I was trying, there's since I've been taking pictures, for how many years with the characters, I'm trying to, swap them out for better pictures for, different reasons. So I had a list of characters that I wanted to try to meet again to get better pictures. So that was another part of it. But
it's Aurora's fault. It really is. We go there. I think the first park we went to was Epcot, and it was in the afternoon. And you wanted to see Aurora in her new pink dress, so we went there, and it all escalated rapidly from there. And then it's just like, ooh, Alice is out. Hey, it's Mary Poppins is right next to her. Hey, well, we can go catch, if we walk over to Germany, we can go catch Snow White right now. And then, hey, well, there's Belle. Oh, wait, there's the line for Belle. We'll come back later.
So if there are people that maybe don't know all of this stuff, because you guys you've done it enough that you know what characters are going to be where and when, pretty much, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So if there are people that don't know this, how do they find out?
Yeah.
Well, we talked about Kenny the Pirate site before, and so he has a great schedule because there's the times guide and they will help you, but not everything is listed there. So his
Doesn't he
site
have an
has
app too?
Yeah.
Yes, he does, and we actually were testing it. I think that was the May trip.
We were actually not to inadvertently plug Kenny.
No, you're fine. Please plug him. Plug away.
We used we were using his character app, Locator app, in the middle of that entire week, just seeing when which character is going to be out on their next set. And it was as right as it could be. The times were dead on. But my biggest advice to anybody who's trying to, if you have, the way we did it is something that only, two people who have no plans, no real dining reservations, nowhere to go. It's a very dynamic environment that you have to realize, you're out of line at X time. What's the next thing we can go do? It's not something you can readily accomplish with 2 kids and a significant other and a very regimented touring schedule. It is really kind of something you just kind of have to go with and have a general idea of, well, we can catch this person at this time and go from there.
Yeah.
But there were some larger strategies at play, going to Magic Kingdom. You can meet Mickey Mouse any time of day generally with a 5-minute wait. You can get him on the exit after Wishes, or you can. There's a 10-minute wait, or if it's extra Magic Hour evening, if they still exist come August, whenever. Assuming we haven't cut those, you can always find Mickey. But Princess Room. I remember us getting a fast pass for the Princess Room, going in the back to Storybook Circus, getting the Fab Four there. We caught some street atmosphere. The citizens of Main Street in the morning. By the way, if you don't know who the citizens of Main Street are, in the mornings between 8 and noon or 9 and noon, they're out. It's the mayor of Main Street, USA, the fire chief, and suffragette. They are some fantastic character actors, and I highly recommend seeing them. And we stopped for photos with them. Actually, more, they stopped us.
Yeah.
The time we were all dressed up, they stopped us. But you go in, you get fast pass for the princess room, you grab what you can on the way, you get the Fab Four, you run over behind the castle, you see if the Wicked Stepsisters and Lady Tremaine are out, as well as the fairy godmother. Then you come back up to the front with, get the princesses. And from there, we kind of skipped eating. I'll be honest. We skipped eating until we're searching, for dining reservations to the last second, going, well, I'm hungry and tired. What do we want to eat?
I mean, with all these characters we met, there was only one character meal. Since I hadn't done Tusker House, I decided to do that one day for lunch. So, if you do character meals, you could kind of cheat and get more characters in there. But, that was only about 4 characters out of all those characters we met. But
yeah, character meals, we've talked about it before on the show. It's a great way to be able to hit a lot of characters, especially if you've got young kids and you're in a big group or anything like that. Really great ways to cross some of those characters off your list. But it sounds like you could maybe do all of that you mentioned by early afternoon.
It can be. The hardest, when we're looking at the characters, I don't mean to pick on Magic Kingdom, and I don't want to pick on Magic Kingdom Entertainment. Magic Kingdom Entertainment are some fantastic people, and there's some hidden gems in there, like the Royal Magic Makers. They're in New Fantasyland, and the Giggle Gang.
I love them.
You have to check out the Giggle Gang show in front of Storybook Circus, and fans of Star Wars Weekends and the Hoopla may get a fun surprise there. But there are only 2 characters out of all the characters we met. The 2 longest lines I would say we stood in was to meet Merida, who is fantastic. But that's a 2-3 hour long line. If you hit it wrong, if you don't hit that thing right at park opening or get in line right before she goes to lunch, that is a 2 to 3 hour long line, just because that many people want to meet Merida, and she meets in one location pretty much constantly, except for pardon me, when she goes off to lunch. The other would be Tiana.
We tried like 3 times to meet her. Every time we would go, they would say the line's cut, so.
Where does Tiana greet?
Directly behind the Christmas store in Liberty Square. As you walk over,
that would make sense.
Also, it's right past the bridge as you walk on that bridge from Adventureland into Liberty Square, as you're going, north through a spoke of the hub in one of the cutover bridges.
Yeah.
If you walk, it's like that bridge you go over in front of Crystal Palace. Just keep going straight. Big gazebo on the left.
I was going to ask.
If you go after 5, then Naveen is with her.
Oh.
So he only comes out, after the parade. But we never caught them then. But it was just because that line just kept closing, and I think we tried 3 times over a couple of days. So we finally got there before, and we were like the first one in line that particular day to meet her. So we finally.
Yeah. I was going to ask Britt real quick. Sorry, Britt. Because you just, on your last trip to Disneyland that you just took a couple weeks ago, you greeted Merida, right?
Yeah.
And the line for Merida in Disneyland is significantly shorter, right?
Yeah, I think it depends when you hit it, but it is definitely not even close to a couple hours. But she does take a long time with the kids, so it is a slow moving line. Like, even if you look at it and you're like, oh, there's only, a handful of people, it does sort of move slow. But sometimes, like the first time we met her, not this trip, but our last trip in the fall, that was when she was like pretty new. And there was like no line. Like she was just standing there hanging out with her handlers, like playing around. And so we just walked up and met her. So it's different there. I don't know why, but
I know. I don't know why either.
And she's way out in the open. Like it's not like she's hidden or anything.
Yeah, because I met her at Disneyland too. And it was the same thing. There was one person in front of me and it was, and here, and the thing here is she is hidden kind of. If you didn't know, you would just see the line. Say, that's another thing. Yes. People see a line and then they say, oh, I need to stand in a line. So, they might not even know what they're doing, but it's she's kind of hidden unless you go over and can spot her. But it's I don't know, but that's definitely one that you have to hit.
I would say even if her line was long at Disneyland, we would still wait in it because she's one of the best interactions.
Yeah, we had fantastic interaction. That was one of the things I wanted to get was like a archery pose, and she brought out the bow and we did a whole thing. It was actually just before her coronation they had.
Oh yeah.
And we went to that, but there was a couple of days we were talking about that, and she was fantastic, especially that particular Merida.
But there's only one Merida. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
There's only one Merida.
The real Merida.
But Britt is touching on an interesting thing here about the amount of time face characters and characters in general are spending with guests. And it's getting longer. The days of love and shove in the mid-2000s are... No, seriously, that's what cast members would refer to it as.
Really? That's the perfect name for it.
Now they kind of keep it informally around a minute, but you can sit there and joke around pretty much as much as you want. Granted, there some guests in line will get rather impatient with that, but that's mainly because they don't understand you can do the exact same thing too, and no one's going to have a problem with it. And that segues into what I would tell people who are meeting these characters. Know your material, know your source material. If you're meeting Merida, you better know the movie. If you're meeting, Ariel or any other face character that you can have a conversation with, know the material. Know
if you want that long interaction, for sure.
Yes, exactly. Some people don't. Some people just want the picture and move on. Yeah. Not us.
No, we have fun.
103 characters. There was no real okay, just go away, guys. There was none of that, except for maybe Jasmine, but that was after that show. Okay, so can I tell the story? Can I tell the story?
Yes, you have. This is one
it's
of
clean. It's clean.
I'm holding my breath. I'm like.
I'm making the host nervous. This is always interesting. So we're meeting Aladdin and Jasmine in their set location in the back of Morocco, which turned out to be one of those the line got cut, they went away, we sat there for 20 minutes, they came back. Type situation.
But thankfully, they let us go inside in the air conditioning. That was the only.
So we're interacting with them, and I make a flying carpet joke. And he makes reference to the carpet we're standing on and saying, but we had to, and he said we had to cut his tassels. So out of nowhere, I come up with, I'm going to have to call the ASPCA on you. And he's just like, the ASPCA, what's that? And I come up with the American Society for the Prevention of Carpet Amputation. In about 10 seconds. Complete improv comedy right there. Aladdin was horribly amused by it. The character greeter was very amused. Jasmine was just like, just go. Just go. She was having fun.
No, she was, and we were the first ones to meet them, so it's not like, she wanted
been out there a long time
to take a break. I mean, she had an attitude, but
hey, that was. Hasn't she always? She comes from royalty. If go back and watch the movie, she's
pretty sassy.
I've noticed that with these princesses that they're not like I've asked them for a couple of things, like when I was there in July, and like Ariel, she wouldn't do a fish face. She said, "No, I can't do that." And Ariel, and then Aurora, I met her several times, and she would not do a sleeping pose. Every time I've asked, and I don't know what is going on with these princesses?
Well, I kind of have to lay some of that. You remember that? Does everybody remember that meme that went around the internet about the whole Andy's coming thing?
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
I have a feeling that has a lot to do with why people aren't doing special requests of that nature.
Stick with some basic poses, I guess.
Yes. Ariel, on the other hand, we had been goofing off for about 5 minutes. Do that. The princess room, obviously, Miss Aurora there was a long giant line, and apparently, I guess she just wasn't into it. I'm not.
No, well, she said one of them actually one time that we met her. She said, "I pricked my finger once and I'm typecast." I'm like, that's what. I don't know.
That's hysterical. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
That's funny.
She did like a little princessy thing, but not like an actual sleeping. So
yeah, when I was in Disneyland and I was meeting the long lost friends, John Adams wouldn't hold Mini Me for me.
Who?
John Adams.
John Adams?
Sorry, I'm drawing. Sorry, the wrong name.
Sorry.
Pocahontas.
Like, who the heck is John Adams?
John Adams, second president of our country.
Yeah, I know exactly right. I'm so sorry. This is when I wish we did edit the show, but we don't.
We'll be doing back-to-backs with George Washington.
You mean John Smith?
Thank you, John Smith.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, John Smith wouldn't hold my Mini Me for me, but the other characters would, and he just told me no. He was like, "No, sorry, you'll have to get someone else to hold her." And I'm like,
that's relatively in character.
Okay.
Wait, I'm thinking of whatever the bad guy in that movie. I never saw that. I grew up in Virginia. I learned all this in history class. I didn't feel the need to actually watch the Disney-fied version of it. Who's the bad guy?
Governor Ratcliffe.
Governor Ratcliffe. There was. I feel I need to Google that, but
I could be wrong. I was wrong on John Smith.
Right, that's right.
We watched just a bit over this in the.
I can see that being him being a bad guy in that respect. The villain saying no, I won't do that.
Right. Pocahontas held her for me, so it worked out fine. But it was really weird to me that he wouldn't do it, but the other characters would. I didn't get it.
I must confess to being a bad character hunter in the fact that Long Lost Friends Week was here in Florida was last week, and I kind of skipped that limited time tragic. I'm sorry. Oh. It's just I remember the days of the Robin Hood unit being and the Pinocchio unit both being everyday, morning town square, afternoon town square sets.
Yeah.
These aren't long lost. This is entertainment offerings we used to have less than 10 years ago that have been cut. And instead we're turning around and they're being marketed as, hey, we're giving you this back for a week. Well, why did you take it from us in the first place? What happened to there being, characters? It was more than just Snow White and Pluto and Marie and Mary Poppins in Town Square. It was the entire Robin Hood unit out in Town Square, or the entire Pinocchio unit in Town Square.
Yeah, I remember that even from Disneyland when I was growing up, we came across Robin Hood characters quite often.
See, and I've never seen them. So to me, I would love to see them. So it's sounds amazing to me.
I mean, yeah, that's why I went in January when they had the Long Lost Friends. It was, but this one in January they had 5 sets, and this time they only had 4, and they weren't really that good. And Disneyland got 10 sets, so I don't know why it keeps getting worse. I mean, I had been thinking about it in July when I was going to go, and I'd heard a rumor when the Long Lost Friends was going to be, and I almost went, and then it turned out the week was wrong anyway. But then, there's really only one character that I would have cared to see, so it was not worth it.
Well, some of them were repeats too, weren't they, from the February?
Yeah, the Robin Hood characters were the repeats from January, and some of the other ones just weren't long losses. The
right.
The Brer Bear, Brer Fox, Brer Rabbit, they used to also in the early, in the less than 10 years ago, they were also an everyday offerings. If you really want to stretch back your character offerings, this would be before Wishes debuted 10 years ago. So it was roughly 10 years ago, back when we had all the trees in the hub before they got pruned. And we had whatever the stage show was. After the stage show, right there around the hub, around Cinderella's castle, all the characters would come, the Fab Five, Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Pluto, Goofy, and whoever was in the show would come out and do, meet and greet directly in front of the stage or around the hub, and you would interact with them. And that happened, but that has also once again gone away,
right, for
whatever reason. And, that was back in the days when we had Toontown, and I just don't understand what entertainment is doing sometimes with how they rearrange things.
Yeah, like how are the choices being made?
Right. Let me ask you guys if you have any other tips that you want to share with our listeners that might want to duplicate maximizing character opportunities, I guess. Opportunities to interact with characters.
Well, there were a couple of the different sort of mini events that we did, like Characterpalooza is a lot of fun. It's chaotic, but it's at Hollywood Studios. I think I've talked about it before, and I did a post for Catching Magic about it. So we met, I think it was 16 characters in that. There's like a bunch of characters that come out on the streets in Hollywood Studios, and
it is a surprise. It is a surprise, unannounced thing that just kind of happens. Your best bet is to obviously look at Kenny the Pirate stuff. It does not happen every single day. And the cast members, if you try to approach an entertainment cast member at Hollywood Studios, they're either going to, say they don't know what you're talking about, or pretend that they don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
They don't want everybody and their cousin to suddenly mass swarm a 20-minute set of 16 characters just hanging out on the streets of America. Plus, if it's raining, it doesn't happen.
Right.
And well, right now we're in the middle of a stretch of 20. It has not rained one. We've had one day without rain once in the past 3.5 weeks. So
wow.
I don't. There is no rain location for that. That being said, if you can find a surprise thing around Echo Lake or Streets of America, look on Kenny's site for times. That's fantastic. Just realize there is no lines to be had.
Yeah.
It's like Disneyland, where it's just mob around.
Free for all.
Yeah, it's
that's stressing me
sometimes
out.
there's some it's there were a couple of times where people would jump in front, that kind of thing, but there were some times where lines would be forming. But it's one of the things was the Queen and the Queen of Hearts, and how often you're going to get the two of them together. So and they happened to be meeting the second set together, so that was a fun thing. And there was a line for that, but it's you have a mix of characters like Minnie and Pluto, that you can find anywhere, but then rarer characters, like Max and there's a couple other ones that were out, and like the Hook and I think Gene comes out, but he wasn't out when we were there.
Shmee, Hook and Shmee were. Yeah, Hook and Shmee they don't meet every day anymore. I remember when Hook and Shmee, they used to meet in front of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, my first trip, I remember that they were out. Yeah,
but for logistical wise, there are some things you can do. If you were going to attempt to meet 30 characters in a day, and you are planning on park hopping, because characters generally stop 6 to 7 o'clock at night throughout all of short of Magic Kingdom, where you still have the Princess Room, the Fairy Room, and the Fab Four Room. You're going to need a car to get from Epcot or Studios or Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, and drive around, because you really can't waste an hour waiting for a bus. You really can. Other things, obviously, just the general things. Have your, the usual things people say. Have your autograph book ready. Have your camera ready.
I have a question. How Heather, I've always wanted to ask you this. How do you get so many cute poses? Do you bring that up or do they bring it up or how does that come around? Because I never, I mean, obviously it's not from me because I never can get cute poses, but I don't ever ask either.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. We had some really good interactions. We had one with Pooh, and he was just like all over the place, and he had me kiss his nose, and so and like that kind of thing. So that was the character. But then other times, like I was saying before, I'm just trying to get some different poses, and so I did ask several of them. I asked for archery pose. I asked. We dressed up and met Cinderella. So I said, can we show off our shoes? So, we did that kind of thing. But it's, just with the interaction, I've complained a lot about PhotoPass sometimes not taking all those kinds of candid pictures. But, and so with all these, it's run a gamut of, one time it would be 2 pictures. And then another time we had this great meet with Buzz and Woody, and they took 30-some pictures. So it's, it just depends. And then you might get, a really cute picture of, like Woody and all over me. And, we had a thing with Frozone and
Frozone.
Frozone, yeah.
Frozone.
And Mr.
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
We had a lot of times where the character kept trying to steal me away, so that was a running theme also.
Yeah, Mr. Incredible tried till I brought up Mrs. Incredible in her boots. Where'd she go? Wait, another. There's a long lost character for you, Mrs. Incredible. She's.
You can find her at Disneyland, I think.
Yeah, she's at California Adventure regularly.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys a little bit about the Kenny the Pirate apps, because you said that you tested them. They're out. They're on Android and iPhone now.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how they work, what they do. I'm sure people will be interested.
Well, it has
crickets.
Hello. Well, first it costs money. There.
Okay.
And it lists all the schedules, and tells.
Is it a membership?
Now it is. Well, not a membership. I think you pay for one time. I think it is.
You basically, not to get too tech speaky here. It's HTML5, basically running off of his website, and you pretty much pay for access to get in there, which turns out to be for a couple bucks. It's to do what we were doing. It was invaluable to know exactly when the next set of this character is at this particular location. Some of the other parts of the application involved, you can track which characters you've met and then take notes as to who they, was this a great interaction? And it's kind of like a checklist type thing, which was all, but just the information provided there is invaluable to if you are character hunting.
Yeah, we never would have met all these characters if we didn't have the set time and know, okay, we have to be here at this time and here at this time, even though it wasn't really planned going into it, but at that day, then we would say, okay, Alice is meeting here, so we have to make sure we're here at this particular time.
Could you imagine if we did that on Star Wars weekends?
Yeah, that'd be crazy. So the app is free. Is that right? No, the app they charge for the app and then also an additional membership.
No, it's just one thing. I haven't checked the App Store, but Heather, if you continue and make her stall.
I've looked in the App Store for Kenny the Pirate, and I have not been able to find it.
It's not in the App Store yet.
Yeah, you have to buy it from the Google Play. Yeah, but then it works for either one. He has I was just looking it up as we were talking about it earlier, and he has a post I'll link up to in the show notes about how to get the app and how to have it on either an Android or an iPhone. So,
yeah, I believe it's something straight off of his website.
Yeah.
But pretty much you're just paying for it once to get all this information, which is essentially set times, which is ridiculously useful if you were trying to do what we did. Plus, obviously, you also have some of the other things. They have all the special event sets out there, like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, Mickey's Not So Scary Very Merry Harry Christmas Party, Star Wars weekends, and I believe it is just. I'm not what you guys would have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's strictly for Walt Disney World. I don't.
Yeah, I've asked him a couple of times about Disneyland, and I think on his site he just lists characters you can meet, but it's different out there. They don't have, set times. When I was planning for December, I was really looking into that, and I just couldn't find it. And this time, I'm hoping there's a couple things I'm hoping to catch, but it's really difficult to find set times, for everything like that. I mean, obviously, there's some that they're out, but it's different out there.
It's a different ball game. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It is really interesting to see the way both for an entertainment company, which is what the Walt Disney Company is, the differing approaches they have to it on the East Coast and the West Coast. It seems kind of like a microcosm of the management's mentality and how they address things. But at the end of the day, guests get to find their characters in a specific location and get to meet, the Fab Five. Kids get to meet Mickey Mouse, and that's what's important. They get as much as what we enjoy doing what we do, it really is all about the small children, because that's what this parks are about.
Right. Right. Okay, Britt, did you have any other questions you wanted to ask?
No.
Okay, then we'll move into our picks with Pixie Dust. Do you have a pick for us, Britt?
I do. Hang on, let me pull it up here. So this is something I found, and I actually think, Steph, I think you might have pinned it onto the Capturing Magic pinboard, but I first saw it from the Disney Sisters on their Babble blog. They recently posted about some really cool Disney iconic iPhone wallpapers or phone, any phone, I guess, wallpapers. And it's by basically their article basically links you to a Flickr account where you can get these really cool free wallpapers for your phone, and they look like the shirt fronts of different characters, and you can tell who the character is just by the little the front of their shirt. It's cool. They're really neat. And there's all different ones from Pixar characters. There's Wreck-It Ralph. There's Jack Skellington. There's all kinds. And so they're really neat. I like them a lot. And I'm picky when it comes to graphic art and stuff. So I like these ones.
Yeah, they're adorable. I totally agree.
So if you don't want to bother going and looking at our show notes and you just want to find it on your phone, because that's probably the easiest way to put one on your phone. If you just navigate to flickr.com/justoffmainstreet, that's where they are.
And is street spelled out?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and they had his permission to share those and link up to him on all of that kind of stuff.
Yep. So flickr.com/justoffmainstreet, and they're the first things on his feed right now. So you'll see them all there. And they're very cool.
Perfect.
That's my pick.
Thank you. All right, Heather, do you have a pick?
I do. On one of the first blog posts I did for Capturing Magic was about different kind of tracking apps. Like we were talking about with the characters that you could, check off when you were meeting them on Kenny the Pirate's site. And so one of the ones I've used is called the WDW Ride Counter app. And it hasn't been updated in a long time, but there's really not that much different at Disney World. So you can keep track of different, the different rides you've done, how many times you've ridden, so you could see. I did Haunted Mansion, 11 times. And it's just, a fun little thing to keep track of.
What about Rock and Roller Coaster? How many times have you done Rock and Roller Coaster?
I have done that 0 times.
According to my app, I've done that one 0 times.
I do not need to check my app for that at the moment. It is 0. We'll see.
That's really funny.
You have
no idea.
You have no idea. Anyways.
Okay.
As Britt is just sitting there going, This must be one of those inside.
Yes.
No,
I think Britt actually knows about it. I'm the one that's sitting here clueless.
Heather doesn't ride those kind of rides, and I don't get it at all.
Well,
if you were with me, I would really have a hard time with that.
I did Space Mountain for the first time this year, so
I know I'm so proud of you. As I know I did see that.
And why
there's someone on this podcast that got me to get on it? So
no. That may have led you up to the thing, but I believe it was a vulgar Phillies fan that grabbing you by the hand and throwing you on the ride. But who that could have been? I don't know that to happen.
I was so nervous that first time. I didn't even take any pictures. I didn't take the ride picture. I didn't take any rides going in the queue. Nothing.
And on that quick note, we do not condone actually taking pictures while you are in a roller coaster car. That is very dangerous. Camera can come loose and then hit somebody else in the face. Don't do that.
But I mean, like the ride picture after and just walking to the queue. But I've done it now. I think twice since then, and we tried to ride it twice. That was in May, and every time we got there, like just as they closed it, like we were dressed up the one time we were going to, like, this will be a cool picture, and they were closing it as we were walking up.
Shoot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that may not have been the words that were used.
Right. Exactly.
So.
We'll move on. Do you have a pick for us, David? I am a little nervous, I will admit.
No, I'm going to be, thanks. Just for general photography tips, I do highly recommend finding a book out there called the National Geographic Field Guide to Photography. It's available on Amazon. It's been out for about 10 years. It will explain to you how to use your camera if you are looking to get better pictures. As far as iPhones go, there's a fun little app out there called Camera Plus. I know it's available on iOS devices. It allows you to actually crop, edit, and do really other things for it. I love it. It fell into my number 2 thing because there was something out there called PhotoForge, but they got bought by Yahoo and they're no longer available, so no need to mention them.
Did we lose you?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think we lost him for a minute. Where were we?
Him? No, just kidding.
We bleeped him. Okay.
Oh wow! I hit the
hit the mute button.
What was the last thing? What was
you
the
bleeped
last?
Yourself.
That's really
funny.
Do
they speak Bocce on what? Say what again? Say what? Anyways.
Okay. Let me.
Yes. Random Star Wars weekends, fun. Highly recommend it. I have no idea what they're going to do for this year, but obviously, character hunting at Star Wars weekend is a whole nother animal. And
that one you have to plan.
That one requires planning and luck and a lot of water.
Yeah.
Lots of water. Did you know that Darth Vader outdraws Mickey Mouse on those weekends?
It doesn't surprise me at all. Oh. Not at all. Now, I forgot who all did picks. Did you do one, Heather? You did, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So my pick is a pin on Pinterest that I found, and I'll move it over so that people can see it. It is a tutorial for making a bag out of an old t-shirt, which I think would be really fun to do if you have an old Disney t-shirt hanging around, and make a bag out of it to take with you to the parks.
I saw that and I totally thought that would be so great for all my old Disney shirts.
Yeah.
We are on the same.
We are, aren't we? Yep. Perfect. Okay.
Awesome.
Let's go around one more time and remind our listeners where to find us. Britt?
I am at BritishDesigns.com, and that's where you can find my digital scrapbooking shop, my blog, and links to everywhere else I'm at.
Perfect. And Heather?
My character site is heatherw.com/character, and it's been updated with my May and July trip. So I added 80 pictures, so there's a lot to look through. And on Twitter and Instagram, I'm heatherw25.
Perfect. David?
Hi, my main photojournalism website is davidmanningphoto.com. And there are links to everywhere else and everything else I do. there.
Great.
Strangely, very little Disney photos, but those you can usually find on Instagram. PhotoDave219 on Instagram, which is where actually most of my Disney photos end up anymore.
Perfect. So. Yeah. And I'm Steph. You can find me at capturingmagic.me, and my other podcast is The Digi Show. And let's see, we are posting Disney stuff all the time. We'll be doing some frequent updates during D23 is the plan. We're looking forward and excited about that. So be sure to watch the site as well as our social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of that good stuff. Come and connect with us on all of those outlets. We would love to hear from you. If you would like to send us tips that you've found as you've been going through the parks trying to capture and create your own magic, we would love to hear them. We've had several listeners pop in with tips that we will be sharing in an upcoming mail show. So you can email us at mail@capturingmagic.me, or you can stop by the site and click on contact and get us that way. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. And we will be back here next time where we will be capturing magic.